So do you have a bottle brush tree that has been smushed that had these in, and I asked that question. So the most one that I got was dipping them into hot water. So as simple as that. Now this one's really heavily sugared. I'm gonna call that sugared, glistening. So we will see. I'm gonna take the little tag off that. Okay, here we go. So it's not very hot because I can touch. Oh, I feel like it. Oh, look at it. It is already fluffing back up, y'all. No way. Something as simple as that. Just adding hot water. No way. And then I thought maybe I need to pick a couple of spots back out that have been overly smushed. Awesome. Okay, tried it here for you all first. Super simple, super simple. Can't get any easier than that. That's awesome. Makes me look at these a whole nother way when I'm out there in the wild.
Now that we learned how to fix any that we might have smashed, just let them air dry, stand them right up on a towel, and they are good to go. But now let's put some of them into things. So there was a comment I once read about if there's a hole, fill it. If there's not a hole, make a hole. So let's show you 10 items that you can put bottle brush trees in. Now I just have these random legs. These are probably legs off a piece of furniture like a couch, but there's only 3. So not really idea for a piece of furniture when I thrifted them, but they have a hole. They have a fun base. So I'm going to go ahead and just get them painted up using Sweet Pickins milk paint and flour sack to give them an aged, chippy look. All I did to remove that 2-way screw, I just went over to my vise, I clamped it in the vise, and then I gave it a turn. Who would have thought that a vise would have been a handy tool in a studio, craft studio? You could use pliers too, but I find a vise is a lot easier. If you haven't used Sweet Pickins milk paint before, it is equal parts powder to equal parts water, and then you stir for 2 minutes and then let it sit off to the side till it thickens. About 2 to 10 minutes is usually what it takes, and then you can paint away. But the nice thing that I like about Sweet Pickins milk paint is that I can take a heat gun in between coats and dry, and what I'm looking for is chippiness. So milk paint is unpredictable. You may get chippiness, you may not get chippiness, you may get crackles, you may not get crackles. You just have to wait and see. Then I'm going to go ahead and give them a second coat, flipping them over, making sure that I get every angle that I can, that I did not miss a spot. And then we'll get them dried again before we have to seal in the milk paint. And then I want to add a little bit of dirt because I do see some cracking, but it's not really noticeable because it's white underneath. So adding a little bit of the Fusion Antiquing glaze will bring that crackle out. And then once I apply the Fusion Antiquing glaze, I'll go ahead and do some of the Homestead Natural Clear Wax, and that'll kind of act like eraser so that it's not too dark and I'm still keeping the white that I'm looking for. And it seems like almost everybody is carrying bottle brush trees, but boy, they run out. So this is why probably all of YouTubers are showing you these crafts as early as we can so that you are able to reproduce them if there's any that you like. So it's as simple as either using needle nose pliers to take them out of the wooden base that they come on, or sometimes nips will also cut that wire. Some of them come out easy, some of them come out hard. You just never know, but I'm not even sure. I think I got this one maybe at Walmart. I'm not sure. I got so many of them this year. I just love creating with them. But look at what a simple statement that makes so quick. So now all I'm going to do is use a little bit of hot glue to hold it in place.
All
So I'm sure a lot of you know that wooden spools are a perfect riser base for these bottle brush trees. I just love them. These are perfect. They're on a little bit on the larger side. There's no labeling left on them. So let's get these painted up. So I'm going to be using Sweet Pickin's Milk Paint again, but in the cherry pie color. These little wooden spools are so dry, the paint's just going to soak in. So one coat's really all I'm going to need. I'm not going to get any chippiness or crackling or crazing or anything like that. I just really love this color. And I'm actually going to be using some ribbon to cover up most of it anyway, but I like that color. After getting both top and bottom and top covered up, and now they're dry with the heat gun, I'm going to go ahead and sand them a little bit just to give it a little bit of age, smooth that paint out. Oh my gosh, when you sand Sweet Pickin's Milk Paint, it is so silky smooth. And then I'm going to deepen that paint a little bit using some of the Fusion's black wax. Now this is really going to pop that color. I ordered a couple yards for the season of red ticking off of Amazon. Oh, my heart is happy. I just love that old-timey look that it has. So I'm just going to rip some strips to be able to wrap it around these spools. So I'll just use a little dab of hot glue just to hold it in place while I'm wrapping it around. When I think that it's full enough, I'll just stop in place, give it a cut, and then I'll glue that end down. Then I'm going to take another piece and I'm going to tie it in a knot around there just to give it just some ribbons hanging off, a little bit more of a visual. And I'll have a little bit of hot glue on each little tail that's hanging down just to hold it in place that it's not sticking straight out. And then I'll give them, a little bit more of a cut to make sure that they are not too long. So now I just have what I would consider a medium size bottle brush tree. So same thing, just going to pull it out of that wooden base. It's almost like they made it so we crafters could create with these. I feel like it needed a little bit more, so I went to my stash and I have these bingo numbers. I feel as if they're just, yeah, look at that. Look how cute that is. Though I can't have a whole bunch of 25s for Christmas or anything, but I tried to find numbers that were appropriate somewhere towards the Christmas date. So on my new favorite color for painting Christmas bulbs, I had to do some more of them. So I got these textured balls at Walmart, and for this I really want to find some texture ball, not glittered or anything like that. And these are like the shatterproof ones. They're not real glass. So we are going to be using some of the jadeite glass. I think it's a DECOR brand from Hobby Lobby. Love that this looks like the jadeite glass. And I'm always looking for the really textured, because I really think painting these up in that jadeite color just pop it. So you just apply the color, and I feel like because I have to push it in to get all the details, that I usually need to have 2 coats or just some touch up. Even though I was using my heat gun, I had it on very low heat. You don't want to melt that plastic bulb. But I did pick out 2 more in that pack, and all 3 have different textures to them. And then off camera, I don't know why I didn't. I sealed these in with some of the weather defense spray. Yes, you definitely want to seal that paint in. But I want to use the hanging system. I love that little silver mark that it gives. But I'm going to be putting a bottle brush tree in there, so I don't need that little top hanging. So I'm just going to snip it off with some nips. And then I have these tart pans that are just nice and shiny silver. They kind of match that little hanging system. And all we're going to do is glue them, the balls, onto the tart pans. And I am really trying to concentrate that I'm keeping it straight up and down, and that I have like the seam now. I guess it's round, so it doesn't really matter, but I just wanted to make sure that I am straight up and down and giving it a second to cool before releasing my grip. I don't want it to tip over, you know. Now these bottle brush trees I got at the Dollar Tree store, and I love that they have that little silver beaded garland on them. I think that's super sweet, which then matches the tart pan, that matches the little hanging system, so it all kind of ties together. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it. If you didn't like it, you could take it off. Now these were inspired by actual vintage bulbs that are glass bulbs that were put on tart pans, but I just couldn't hot glue a vintage bulb, so I just made up my own. How many of you watch and have quite the hoard of little old alphabet letter blocks? I cannot pass them up. If they're a few bucks, I have them. I love using them in anything that I do. So since they are so vintage and they have that beautiful worn, and I purposely picked out C's from my stash to use in this, which stands for Christmas, I have these vintage bottle brush trees that I bought from an auction. I don't know how vintage they are. I do know that they're older. So I do have to make a hole because this doesn't have a hole. So I'm just eyeballing center. It's just a little square. I think I can get center drilled in there. And here's why it is so popular and so easy to do, to take the bottle brush trees off its base and put it on something else. It is simple as popping the bottom off, drilling a hole or finding a hole and putting a little hot glue, and voila, you have a vintage inspired, a vintage looking, a vintage piece of Christmas decor that will last from year to year. So here are some spools that actually have thread on, and they have the labeling. They are gorgeous. They're gorgeous. Everything about these little guys are gorgeous. I actually used them in my own decor in a cabinet. But because that is black, and sometimes, yes, you can have fun with colors. I absolutely love some of the colors that they come up with for these bottle brush trees, and I think pink and black are beautiful together. But wait, I have another set. I was inspired by these. I absolutely love the black on them. But for these, I'm going to use some cream trees. I love that. That's my favorite, is these cream trees. So that's what I decorate with my neutral palette that goes well with my ironstone pieces in my cabinets. So same thing, we're going to pop them off, but we're going to change these up just a little bit. really like that button-like feature of the Mingo earlier in the video, that I have these little metal pins, and I believe they were meant to go onto your screen so you knew where to put your screens back on when it came back to summer. So I love running across these, and they just have a little tack on, so sometimes you can, hammer it in and it'll be just fine and it'll work because it's a wooden spool, or sometimes you have to go ahead and clip that off and do a little hot glue. It does clip off, unfortunately, rather easy, but I just love that little piece of metal with the black. And I tried to get to the 25, somewhere in the, the teens to 20 range, just to go with the theme. Do I have any Santa cup watchers? Any of you that collect them, the vintage ones or even the new ones, are so super cute. So these were just from Hobby Lobby. They're just a few bucks. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. And these little trees came from Hobby Lobby too. Look at right there. I tell you, they make it so simple to make a statement piece. How easy could you get? But I am going to add a little bit of glue in the bottom so that they stay in. I love showing you items that are vintage that you have to go out hunting for, like these insulators, or that you could go purchase, like those little Santa cups. But yes, so these are some old insulators that I have, and I thought, oh, they have a hole. They're white. I love them. And then these are some bottle brush trees from the Michael store, and I love that little touch of glitter they have on them. Though they only had 2, I probably would have bought more. There was a mint green one that I fell in love with, and I'm still hunting for more of that. But on this one, since the hole is quite big, I'm going to go ahead and use a little piece of a doily to act as a tree skirt to give this something to hold on to. Now, the wires on these are going to end up being too long. They're going to go all the way through the bottom, so I'm going to have to snip a little bit of that wire off. But look at the perfect fit these little rounds are for these insulators. I love using these vintages up. Oh, a cute little cream tree skirt. So that way I can hot glue that on, and then I can put some more hot glue on, because I'm not going to really be able to glue just the wire. It's too big of a hole, but I can glue the bristles to the doily to the insulator. The nice thing about using hot glue is you're really not ruining the item. Like, I'm going to be gluing a couple more trees into these little children wooden shoe forms. Oh my gosh, well, they have a hole, so I couldn't help myself. So I have a medium and a little bit smaller one, but I am going to be adding a little bit more decor, not just the tree in the hole this time. You could see my workspace. I'm not going to show it to you because I would look like a hoarder with all my stash, but I have so much Christmas going on right now that I'm like, oh, look at this sweet little, and I just have one, the sweet little wicker twig star. I thought, oh, what a perfect accent to put at the bottom. And it already has a wire, so I can wrap it around the base of the tree, hopefully not popping it off. I gotta be kind of gingerly. Might have wanted to done that first, but that was an afterthought after I already got the tree glued on. So I love the idea of a star, so I'm going to put a little star on the other one, and these are like a star garland, and I'm going to use the wire to hang some rusty bells off of these two also. Oh, yes. Of course I was going to do some doorknobs. I have picked these purposely for this time of the year to put bottle brush trees in. I love it. I love that chippy cream one. I love the unique shape of this one, and a glass one, of course. Love the glass one. So I do end up buying newer bottle brush trees. I also try to thrift them throughout the whole year. So they may not always match. They may not be a perfect match, but to me, they don't. That's the perfectly imperfect of them. Just like the knobs themselves, the trees do not have to match. And it's as simple, it's so super simple, just taking that base off and putting some hot glue and gluing it into something that has a hole or something that doesn't have a hole that you drilled in there. I don't have another cream one, but that's okay because the knob itself is a little bit on the wider side. So why not have coordinating colors? And this is actually a plastic. I'm used to them being wood, and that one was plastic. So, but yeah, it's all the same concept. You just match up or don't match up or however you want to do it.